Deputy Ryan.
Thank you, Lasky Hirlich. I welcome the opportunity to speak on this bill today. I welcome the broad thrust of this bill. It is an administrative and housekeeping bill rather than a radical piece of legislation, and is aimed at improving our competitive position as a location for business investment. I welcome that for the first time in our state's history, the most common form of company, the private limited company, has been placed at the centre of company legislation and given primacy. There are numerous simplifications and benefits to the limited company within the bill, which will aid them starting off and continuing in business. Basic measures such as single directorships and single document constitutions are simple changes, but ones which will have a practical and positive impact on business startups. I have dealt with numerous constituents in the last couple of years who have good business plans but are faced with masses of prohibitive red tape from the outset. The bill goes away towards reducing some of that red tape, and I welcome that. There's an oft-quoted line from Cabinet members that Ireland should be the best small country in the world in which to do business. I support this call and aim, but I would like to add that Ireland needs to be the best small country in the world also in which to be a worker. At the moment, we are not there. The implosion of the Irish economy, for reasons we all know, has seen our live register figure climb to over 440,000 people, with many people unemployed, underemployed or poorly employed. The live register figure is beginning to tick down and is now at 426,000. However, this needs to become a real trend, and that trend needs to continue at a more rapid pace. This bill is geared towards streamlining company law so that companies should be easier to establish, to operate and to do business with. I do welcome any moves which will encourage companies to set up in Ireland, be they indigenous or foreign multinationals, and which will create and sustain employment. I firmly believe there is only one way out of the economic situation, and that is through job creation and retention. Job creation will reduce the burden of social protection, allowing Minister Burton to further target supports at those who most need it. Job creation will help alleviate the mortgage arrears crisis, allowing families service their mortgages and get their household budgets back on track. Job creation will bring in employers' PRSI, employees' PRSI and income tax, which will improve the state's coffers. The government has introduced and supported a range of job creation measures which are helping small, medium and large companies create employment. Budget 2013 contained measures to enable the delivery of supports for companies in need of credit. Scarce public resources were used to leverage funding from the private sector to provide credit for businesses. Measures include the Seed and Venture Capital Scheme, the Development of Capital Scheme, R&D tax credits, and increasing the lending targets of the two pillar banks for 2013. More recently, Minister Joan Burton has announced details of the new Job Plus scheme, which is focused on the long-term unemployed and provides a cash flow benefit to businesses which hire job seekers who have been on the live register for 12 months or more. Add this to the Back to Work Allowance scheme, Job Bridge, the launch of Intro and the rolling out of the Pathways to Work strategy, and we see the practical measures being introduced by Minister Burton and this government to help people rebound into the jobs market. In difficult times and with limited resources, this government has put in a range of practical measures to aid businesses and will continue to do so. The collective purpose of all of these state support measures is to create jobs. They are not designed to make it easier for businesses to run shaky concerns, deprioritise their commitments to state charges such as commercial rates, or indeed practice poor or immoral corporate governance. The example this week of the remuneration levels of the CEO of Bank of Ireland was a slap in the face to the Irish people and should not act as an example of how state-supported companies, be they banks or SMEs, should operate. I welcome this bill, Lasky Hirlich. I hope it leads to an increase in good companies setting up and more jobs being created. It is one more step to support small businesses in this country, and that is essential if we are to get out of the current crisis we're in. Thank you, Lasky Hirlich.
Good morning, Deputy Tom Hayes.